He's coming. The President of the United States is coming to Kansas City. Thursday, April 7th at 7 p.m. News 5 and the President of the United States will hold an exclusive town hall meeting on health care. In a live News 5 special, Wendell Anschutz focuses national and local attention on what Kansas Cityans have to say about health care. There's only one television station in town that's committed to host the President, and that station is News 5. It's another reason why in Kansas City, 5 stands for news.
Bob Griffin predicts chances are better than ever for approval of the plan.
Healthcare reform will be the topic of discussion this Thursday here at KCTV. President Bill Clinton is coming to town to hold a town meeting. The 90-minute program will be televised live right here on TV5 starting at 7 p.m. It was a double-header day for President Clinton today. The president's first stop was in Cleveland,
but is expected to face a major challenge in the Senate.
Well, Mr. Clinton will talk health care during a town hall meeting here this week. The president will take questions from a studio audience on Thursday, and you can see the 90-minute program right here on KCTV. And our own Wendell Anschutz will have a one-on-one interview with the president tomorrow. Wendell will have live reports from Charlotte on News 5 at 5 and at 6 o'clock. Well, since last week, we've asked you to send in your questions for the president, and lots of mail has come into us. KCTV employee Gaylord Platter has the lucky task of sorting all that mail and delivering it to the newsroom, where Executive Secretary Ruthie DeRue opens and stacks it. Of the hundreds of questions received, some 100 will be selected. Those people will be invited to come to our studios to ask Mr. Clinton their question live during the town hall meeting. And workers are busy getting the studio ready for Thursday night. Electricians are hanging lights, and we're working on a special set for the president's appearance. Crews will start installing additional outlets, phone lines, and special monitors to accommodate the president and the participants.
Mr. Clinton won't be the only one selling his health care in this area.
Stands for news. This is News 5 at 5.
Good afternoon. The President and First Lady have kicked off a 4-day push for health care reform. News 5's Wendell Anschutz is following the Clintons on a portion of their intense sales trip. They started today in Troy, North Carolina. The Clintons toured a hospital there, and while there, they heard stories of staff shortages that forced doctors to work relentless schedules. Then it was on to a school to tell kids and teachers about a health care reform plan. And that's where Wendell was able to sit down with President Clinton. Wendell, what did you talk with the president about today?
You know, we talked about a number of things, Melissa. Healthcare reform, of course, is the big topic. That's why we were invited here for this extended personal interview. But we talked about some other things, too, including one thing that was on my mind, in which the president agreed was a source of shame in a once proud America.
Mr. President, you're going to talk about crime tonight, I understand. And we all remember a time when America was held up as a world ideal, best life that you could have anywhere. Last week, a girl was killed on a playground in England. It was a very tragic crime. And one of the British citizens said, "It's scary. It's almost as bad as it is in America." How does that sort of comparison make you feel?
Terrible. But it's time we faced it. I mean, this is a very high crime country. We have the highest percentage of people in jail of any nation in the world, any major nation. We have clearly the most violent country of any major nation in the world. But I'm trying to do something about it. And people at the local level are going to have to do more about it. Our crime bill would put 100,000 more police officers on the street, would ban 28 kinds of assault weapons, which make gang members better armed than police officers. Has a 3 strikes and you're out provision, which basically recognizes that a big percentage of the truly violent crimes are committed by a small percentage of the criminals. So that if they continue to put people's lives at risk, they shouldn't be eligible to get out of the penitentiary. We also do a lot of things for young people. Boot camps, drug treatment, alternative punishments, recreation for people to keep them out of trouble or keep them from getting in serious trouble. But we're going to have to deal with this community by community. I mean, there is no community that's immune from it.
Do you think you can legislate this sort of problem out of existence?
No, I don't think you can legislate it out of existence, but I think you can help. 30 years ago, let me just give you one example. 30 years ago, there were 3 police officers for every reported violent crime. Today, there are 3 crimes for every police officer. So it really would make a difference if you have enough policemen and they're doing the kind of community policing, in touch with their neighbors, working with the kids, work that we know lowers crime. We know crime can be lowered. Let me just give you one example that I don't think is in any of your media markets, but the mayor of Houston, Texas, got elected on a promise to put 660-something police officers on the street and to properly deploy them. So he said he'd either hire 660 new people or he'd get enough money to pay overtime to have the same impact. In 15 months, the crime rate dropped 22%. The murder rate dropped over 25%, and the mayor was reelected with 91% of the vote. Why? Because you can lower the crime rate. And it is a huge issue. You know, this is a personal freedom issue. When people can't walk down the streets, when kids can't walk to school, when people don't feel secure in their homes, they are not fully free. So I think it is a big deal. But there are things can be done at the national level, but in the end, a lot of it's going to have to be done at the community level as well.
As we said, health care reform, that's the big thing that the president is pushing this week. But as you'll recall, in his State of the Union message, President Clinton, his chief plank was crime and what to do about it. So I think we're going to hear a lot of that subject in the days to come, the weeks to come throughout the rest of his presidency. As a matter of fact, he has scheduled one town hall meeting on just that subject this week. But in just an hour now, just a little less than an hour, the president will begin his town hall meeting here in Charlotte, North Carolina at the studios of WBTV. Like ours, it will run an hour and a half. Then it's on to the Midwest. Of course, he will arrive in Kansas City Thursday evening, and our town hall meeting will begin at 7 o'clock. And we hope everyone will watch and that some of you will be there in the audience to see and hear the president.
Well, Wendell, of course, we want everybody to watch tonight at 6. What did you and the president talk about and that you're going to bring us tonight at 6?
Tonight at 6, we're going to talk about health care reform and the problems that he might find from one of the central legislators in Kansas, that being none other than Senator Bob Dole. And he has some interesting things to say about how Senator Dole might not help and how he might help him get his legislation through.
Okay, we look forward to that. Thanks, Wendell. The Kansas City Blade suffered a tragic loss today.
Who really know a lot about health care and care a lot about it and would like to see this problem dealt with. Now, they may differ with me on exactly how to do it, but they want to enter into an honest dialogue. Then you've got others who really don't care if we ever get universal health insurance, who don't care if everybody gets health insurance, and who see this more as a political issue and an ideological fight. Senator Dole's in a little bit of a difficulty because he's got to represent both groups. And I think, you know, I think that we'll just have to see what happens as it goes along. But I do believe that he has at various points in his career shown a genuine interest in health care. And so I have some hope that we'll be able to work something out.
Whatever that something is they work out, it is almost certain that we'll have to include universal health care. That is the one mandate that President Clinton has insisted on. But of course, this thing has to work its way clear through Congress, and who knows what will come out and how much it will look like what went in. It was a beautiful day to start this 4-day campaign sweep for his health reform. We had temperatures here about 80 degrees and beautiful skies. How's the weather there, Ann?
Miserable. Winter is back, Wendell, but hopefully you'll bring some of that sunshine back with you so that the president can enjoy 50 degrees and sunshine. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
We'll try it.
All righty. Again, that town hall meeting will get underway at 7 o'clock on Thursday, and you can see that 90-minute program live right here on News 5.
Several hundred people sent in questions hoping to take part in our town hall meeting. One of those people is Deborah Engel. She's a single mother with severe health problems who spends most of her time trying to pay for her medical care. News 5's Jerry Gossett has her story.
One of Deborah Engel's 2 jobs is at this small candy brokerage company. In recent years, except for her 7-year-old son, life has been anything but sweet.
I have $35,000 worth of medical bills that I'm trying to pay. I have high premiums on insurance and low coverage. And so I thought, well, if I can get in to see him, I want to know what his plan is for how it would help me and my son, and what was it going to cost me.
She wants to talk with the president about her son.
And he's afraid to tell me when he's sick. Because, Mommy, he says, we don't have the money. I took a leave of absence this week, so I'm not working my second job, so I get to see my son.
She wants to talk with Mr. Clinton about overwhelming health care problems that forced her to move in with her parents.
My parents try to help me out as much as they can, but they shouldn't be worrying about their grandchild and their daughter.
She wants to talk about financing health care.
Because small businesses are going to get cut on this. If they had to pay out so much money, what's going to happen to the small businesses? If the small business is gone, I'm out of a job.
Deborah Ingalls is not one of the 100 people who will be meeting here with the president this week, but she thinks someone will ask her questions anyway. She doesn't think they're that uncommon. And she's fearful that there are a lot of people out there who may even envy her.
It's really scary. There are people who are worse off than me. I have it great compared to them, and that scares me to death.
Jerry Gosa, News 5.
Ingalls says she's written to the White House in the past on the issue of health care. She always receives a nice thank you letter from the president, but nothing very encouraging.
It passed the first time around, but will Missourians say yes? President Clinton says momentum is on his side as he rallies support for health care reform. Tonight he spoke at a town hall meeting in Charlotte, North Carolina, and his trail will bring him to Kansas City later this week. News 5's Wendell Anschutz is in Charlotte tonight and joins us live by satellite. Wendell, what did he have to say this evening?
Well, Ann, as you said, speaking of elections, it's a week on the campaign trail for President Clinton, but of course he's not running for re-election just yet. He's trying to sell his health care reform plan, and that trail starts right here in Charlotte.
If the week ends as well as it began, President Clinton will have reason to celebrate. He certainly did last night when his Arkansas Razorbacks clinched the NCAA title here. But the tone for the rest of the week is more sober. This morning at 10, he was off to the small town of Troy, North Carolina, for a photo op at a rural hospital where a lean staff is pressed to work 80-hour weeks with resources that are stretched to the limit. The president outlined incentives to attract doctors back to rural America in a talk to community leaders at Troy School. And later, in a specially arranged meeting in the school library.
But you're not going to make increased government paperwork take the place of that?
No, I don't think so, but not if you turn it back to these local buying co-ops.
The president answered questions from me and 3 other Midwest reporters in a session that lasted nearly a half hour.
What are the chances you think of getting the requirements that you want for health care reform out of a Congress that does not have consensus?
Oh, I think there's a good chance we'll get it, but everybody's going to have to move a little.
But today's visit to Troy was just for openers. Tonight he was back in Charlotte, where he went to the NBC station for the main event. For an hour and a half, Mr. Clinton fielded the questions he will hear over and over for the rest of the week about health alliances, global budgeting, health care rationing, choice of doctors, government control, and costs.
And from here, the president takes his road show on to the Midwest. He'll be in Kansas City, of course, Thursday evening at 7 in our studios at KCTV. And then the next night, Friday, he'll move on to Minneapolis. And